and happy Friday, folks. Today is July 24th, and guess what? 1 week to Gen Con Online. Is everyone excited? Especially Derek, so much excitement.
Not even 1 week, it's 6 days.
It's 6 days. I'm sorry, 6 days.
I was going to correct you, but I decided against it.
We are officially in the less than 1 week until all of the chaos of the past couple months finally blossoms on everyone's computer screen.
Whoa. So since you have literally 1,000 more things to do for this show, I can personally say that from my end, I'm super stressed out about it. I can only imagine the turmoil that you're going through, Derek.
So you know how Rifts has SDC and MDC or mega damage? Just imagine that there's stress and then there's mega stress.
Mega stress. I mean, yeah. But besides that, how have you been keeping sane during, of course, the great sprint week or 6 days of sprinting?
Me. Well, so like right before the show is usually, not quite yet, but is usually like the calm before the storm. We'll see if that happens for Gen Con Online, because this is new for everybody. Like, this is new for players, it's new for Gen Con, it's new for publishers, it's new for game organizers. So it's new for everyone. So I don't know if we'll actually have that same kind of window where everything is kind of calm and people just need to show up and do their thing. I think we're going to have questions coming up all the way through the show. People, confused where to go, what to do, things like that.
Yeah.
But I think we'll get through it. A lot of the big stuff is in place now. So I'm really just excited to see how people engage with it. I think we announced that we had sold over 20,000 badges, and that, I think we're over 6,000 live events now, like active events, which again is just almost an order of magnitude larger than I expected it to end up being when we initially started. So I can't wait. It's a thing that is for damn sure. Like in other news, I took some time last night to not do Gen Con, and actually managed to complete a raid in Destiny that I hadn't managed to get a group together for. We did it in one try. Well, one night at least, I guess. So it's a little bit different, but like less than 3 hours, we got through the raid.
Time, 1 a.m. in the morning.
Yep. And then the other thing that I wanted to share is this very weird soda that my wife got, which, as far as I can tell, she insists is pronounced Iron Brew because it is super Scottish or something. So she never just says, "Oh yeah, I got Iron Brew." But it's
real iron.
Yeah, it is this orange color. So like the way that Mountain Dew is green or yellow, this is orange.
Aggressively orange.
Yes, and it kind of tastes like cleaning fluid.
Does it say what flavored soda it is on the can?
Original and best. Well, I think we have a UK viewer says, I love it in chat.
Yeah. So apparently, apparently it's a huge thing. It does kind of taste like cleaning fluid, but not as bad as that would make it sound. Like as a Mountain Dew aficionado myself, I can understand some of the appeal, but I would still label it as on first sip, not good, but I could definitely see where you could be conditioned to love it.
That's a great review. All right. But yeah, Christian, what have you been up to? I hear your wife is now obsessed with
Hamilton. Yeah. She has not substituted her obsession with wrestling for her obsession with Hamilton, but I'm pretty sure that she would like to change like half of the wrestlers' entrance music into songs from Hamilton. It's gotten to, I know it's bad when we get to the point where we're doing something random, maybe we're watching something on TV, maybe we're driving down the street to the grocery store, maybe we're walking through the grocery store, and she'll just randomly like see a word that she associates with that and start shouting the lyrics in the middle of wherever the hell we happen to be.
Nice.
That reminds me of the Twitter bot that will find Wikipedia article titles that could fit Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. Just post that in the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle font.
It's very, but it's like weird, like off-brand word association. Like I explained that we were arguing in the store the other day, and I explained to her that we were not arguing. We had the exact same view. We were not in any way opposed. And she, in the middle of the produce aisle, shouts, "Diametrically opposed, foes!" Like top of her lungs, no warning. I fell on the floor. On the dirty
she's just bringing some rhymes to your everyday life, and you need to embrace that music.
People's jaws were open looking at us, and I could just tell because their masks were stretched out more than they should be.
Well, at least it was still fun, you know?
It was super fun. Like, I don't want you to think that I'm complaining about this new obsession. I find it endearing and adorable because I find my wife endearing and adorable. There you go. And plus, I've had lots of other things to keep me busy because she's away most of the time, leaving me here as a hermit in the house all by myself, except for the dogs. And we've had like a string of robberies throughout the neighborhood this week, and that's been very exciting because the neighbors are talking to each other for the first time ever. And you know, it's like we didn't do the block party, but yeah, we all want to know who's like been taking the stuff off of our porches and breaking into our cars.
When you say it's very exciting, my only conclusion is you've been like, yes, it is my time to become the Batman of the neighborhood, and you like have an outfit already prepared in the basement.
I can neither confirm or deny that.
So Chad is asking, so is your wife the one?
Yeah. If you take away my profile with a Batman mask, you can still tell it's me.
Yeah.
Like there's no hiding this.
No, I just imagine that you get the full plastic Batman mask that goes around the whole face, so the beard just pokes out.
No, I wouldn't do any more than like poke holes in the top of my beanie so I can pull them down like a mask, like so.
Yeah.
Just I need. You don't know when you have to get into action. They don't have phone booths in downtown Olympia. That's not a thing.
Yeah, that makes it tough.
And I'm also not going to come running out the front door of my house in my Batman outfit, which, by the way, I don't have.
So you've confirmed that you've dug a tunnel to a cave in the cliff behind you.
I would have had to call for a digging permit for that, and I can't think of a reason why I would do such a thing, Derek.
So 1 count of vigilantism, 1 count of unauthorized construction.
Digging without a permit, yeah.
Vigilantism. Because, like, most of these guys, like the guys that are doing it, they're homeless, you know?
Yeah.
And I'm not going to just call the cops on them, you know?
Sure. Right. But Batman could show up with, like, a blanket and a sandwich.
No, it's more like, hey, put my neighbor's ashtray down, you know, please.
Yeah.
Please.
Or
Here, have a piece of fruit
and friendly.
To convince you that I am going to call the police, even though I am
not. But yeah, despite, of course, not Batman shenanigans going on, Emma, what have you been doing this week?
So I made it to Diamond in Magic the Gathering Arena, which probably...
You beat Magic.
I beat Magic. I won.
You beat Magic.
Yeah, I never have to play again. It's great.
100% clear. Got all the trophies. You beat Magic.
Well, technically, there's actually other levels beyond Diamond. There's Mythic beyond that. Although once you get to Diamond, you actually matched up against a lot of Mythic people, which doesn't quite seem fair. But I've been going. This is in limited specifically, so they have the standard queue and the limited queue. Doing a lot of drafts lately. So
your rank may say Diamond, but to us, you are Mythic.
Mythic.
Yes.
Aww. Thank you. That's so sweet.
Oh, praise Emma. We are unworthy
that.
to be in your presence.
The other thing that happened was I made a game and it's gone to the publisher. So this one came up very quickly. It was this person who reached out to me looking for a game, an RPG, a micro RPG on a bookmark. So we worked together, did a little bit of collaboration on that, and I made a little micro RPG, more like a storytelling poem thing, and it fits.
And just to be clear, it's
on a bookmark.
It's not collect all cucumbers or anything, right?
It's no. There's
Okay, because now I have that idea, and you can't take it.
Banish bushels of beets, or bunches
of beets.
And this game design thing was not related to Magic. So in the notes, when you said that you achieved Diamond in Magic and submitted a game design, it was not like you unlocked the secret level of Magic Arena where it just says, yes, you have won. Now submit your game design for approval.
For Wizards, yeah. There's this portal open.
Summons you for your game design.
That's how they hire new designers, didn't you know?
You just play Magic enough. Hello.
Yeah.
You weren't supposed to tell people that.
I thought they just looked at headshots, and if they were darker than this, they just threw them away.
Ooh, that is a harsh burn that Wizards is attempting to fix, from what I hear.
Yes.
Yeah, I know. But it's still timely enough to where I felt like it mattered. And also, cheap digs are kind of my thing.
I guess for me, you guys are doing so much more. I just got all the things that I ordered a while ago. Like,
hey,
I got 1,000-year-old vampire and some very cute, not very good on the weapon scale. Hold on, let me get a purple one. But I got some from the Fable Fames. I got a couple of smelly D20s. They're not very checkable.
So Monza, I think what you mean is scented.
So many questions.
Scented.
What did I say?
Smelly?
Oh, scented. Scented.
Not incorrect, but probably not the branding they go for.
It's smelly. It's smelly.
They smell good. They smell good. That's what I meant.
It looks like it smells good.
Yeah, I got
I
one.
wish I could smell it.
This one smells like a nice library, an old book library store. And then this one's gardenias, and then fresh laundry. I'm very basic.
I'm so jealous right now. I wish I had things.
Onside, that one on your left is actually a Tide Pod.
Ah, dang it! I should have known. So I should eat it then. No,
it's better to burn it than eat it. Probably also not safe to burn, but yeah.
Yeah.
All right.
The trick with Tide Pods is you got to smoke them.
We do not condone doing anything but washing clothes with Tide Pods here at Gen Con, just in case people were wondering. But
Content warning,
please. But yeah, no, that's all the updates I have. And you know what? Yeah, it sounds very fun and exciting. I'm glad we could get those giggles in. So let's just go ahead and jumpstart right in to the headlines, Emma.
Well, that's funny that you said Jumpstart there, because we're going to talk about Magic the Gathering's new Jumpstart.
Brilliant segue, Bonza.
I know, right? We talked about this recently, about Jumpstart. Just for a quick overview, if you missed that, Jumpstart is a format with slightly different packs. They each have 20 cards. You take 2 of the packs, shuffle them together, and play a game against someone else who has done that same thing. So this I believe it had just come out last week or the week before when we talked about it, but now it's been out for a little while and people are really enjoying it. Derek, did you get a chance to play it yet, or you didn't?
No, all I had the chance to do was to go through the now obsolete color challenges to unlock the ability to play normal modes.
Yeah.
And I was doing it when I had a little bit of a break from Gen Con stuff, because every now and then I have to step away for my own sanity, and I managed to get through it, but have not actually gotten into a game yet. So I don't actually know how it works. Like, I know you gotta like pay gold to get the packs to get into play.
Yeah.
But I don't I assume I keep all the cards afterward. I think if I win a match or two, I get another pack or something. I don't really know.
Yeah, you got to keep the cards afterwards. They're special cards it's a Jumpstart set, so it's not cards from the other sets, but they are playable in some of the different formats. I believe they're playable in Historic on Arena, so you can reuse the cards. There have been some other formats that are like a ghost draft, basically, where you play with it, but you don't get a hold on to it. So it is a good way to start to build out your collection, especially if you're interested in some of those weirder, older formats. What you do get to do is, once you've paid your fee in gold or gems, you get a selection of 3 packs, and they have really great thematic names, which is, again, good. All of this stuff is meant to be really good for beginners or for people not as familiar.
Well, it sounds like I don't know. I wouldn't say that it's. Again, I haven't done it, but from my perspective, it seems like it's not good for a complete newbie to Magic, but it's good for somebody like me who knows how to play Magic, has played a fair amount of Magic, but doesn't have a whole lot of interest in building decks or sorting through their collection or even, just finding a list online and building something. They just kind of want to play. And, I want to pick a theme or two, but beyond that, I don't super care. I just want to play around with the cards. And it sounds like it's a perfect match for that.
Yeah. And Arena, as you said, Derek, some of this stuff is a little outdated. And I think Arena and Wizards had some great thoughts in the beginning. So we're going to give these decks, we're going to give you all the stuff you need to get started. I don't know if they've paid as much attention to this idea that this stuff rotates out and you can't play it. They have updated in the past, so hopefully they will update again. But currently, that stuff is a little behind. But the tutorial is still great. You know, if you have never played Magic before, Arena is like probably one of my favorite tools for just throwing someone in. Just the idea of tapping mana and putting creatures on the battlefield, and even just the UI of Arena is great for like the things that you can play light up in your hand, and you can pull them. You know, just drag it onto the field. So I think there's a lot of stuff that can now.
I have found that it does really help if you actually read the text of your cards, and
Oh.
when you have a creature with menace, if you actually read what menace does and don't plan your turn based on a completely different understanding of what menace is, then you will be better at it.
Yeah, but Derek, this is as someone who again has just gotten to Diamond. Reading your cards is there's a lot of words. Okay, these cards have a lot of words on them, and so it can be very hard to read all those. And that's not. I don't necessarily connote you can, but I don't think it should be necessary. It is a good thing. You should read them.
What were you saying, Christian? Sorry, I didn't hear you.
I trust her because she's Diamond.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, because she's Diamond.
I don't have to read the cards.
Doesn't that sound so Steven Universe of us?
I was
trust her because she's Diamond.
Yep, I was just thinking that.
My Diamond. Well, it's just a funny running joke because I play a lot on Discord and we stream amongst our friends and we all play a ton. And they're like, so like, wait, what did you do there? Like this thing is gonna die. They're like, oh right, yeah, I didn't read that. So even for people who've played a lot, we do sometimes forget to read the cards.
Well, it's just I know there's some ability that is like you can't be blocked except by creatures with that ability. And then menace, I think it has to be blocked by 2 or more creatures. And I mixed the 2 up and thought that I had like an unblockable guy. And then my opponent was like, fine, I'll just send 2 chumps and kill it. And I was like, oh, poops.
Yeah, some of those, and from different games can have different keywords. So getting to know the keywords is one of the trickier parts of Magic the Gathering. And in paper Magic, it's not spelled out. You know, people, most experienced players know what flying is or know what lifelink is, but in Arena it's nice because you can actually hover over the cards and get the breakdown of that.
So what you're telling me is I have less of an excuse to have made that mistake.
Yes. It takes a lot of practice. But yeah, so for Jumpstart, you do get a pick. You get a pick of 3 packs and then another pick of 3 packs. And it's got very thematic names like Blue Dragons or whatever. But
you end up with 2 packs. So you have a group of 3, you pick one. Group of 3, you pick one.
Yeah.
You combine those 2 packs.
2, shuffle them together. You don't see the cards in it before you pick them, just as with the paper packs. And then you just jump in and do a game. And I think it's just you get the win state for this is not very high either. You win a game and you get some little thing. So it's much more about just playing out the matches. And if you're enjoying your deck, you can keep playing. If you're not, you can just play until you win and then do it again. It's very free form. And like you said, can be a lot of effort into building a deck. Like me as an experienced player, I know that you can go online and copy a deck and put it right into Arena. And the tools are actually very smooth for that, but you need a level of knowledge to be able to do that. So this is a great thing, especially if you don't know all the archetypes and you don't know the color pies. Just like, I like red and green and smash them together.
Yeah.
Maybe it's a disaster. Some of the decks really are bad because of that, but it's fun. It's fun.
Yep. That is 100% me.
So
yeah.
Yeah, so this is something that people can totally look forward to and check out if they're interested. And like you suggested, going to Arena if you're still very new to the game is the best way to learn. And then, it's like a simplified booster draft that people can just have fun with.
Yeah, I do want to say, like, I'm trying to get back into Magic this one, like again, basically. So I feel like I'm gonna have to get Emma to give me some tips. And it sounds like Christian might be in for some Jumpstart, so maybe we should all like hang out and play with each other so that we don't just see each other when we have to sit down and cover things for the week, basically.
Yeah, I would love to. I play a ton, and using tools like Discord is super easy to just stream the screen. I
might be able to come in and get schooled by Emma more than once a week.
Yes.
Well, the way that we do the draft is like we have 4 or 5 people on chat looking at the pool of cards and discussing the different archetypes and metas in the current draft and like which cards are powerful and which ones aren't. So it's, especially if you're learning how to draft, having a couple of people discussing the cards. Lots of people stream this way too. They do drafts and discuss why they're picking certain cards. So
Sounds
Mhm.
awesome.
Way to learn.
All right. But yeah, excitement. Now for more exciting news, Christian, what have you to announce?
Well, D&D has just announced that they're putting out a co-op board game called Adventure Begins, which will be coming out in October. So be prepared for a fall release. That's pretty exciting.
Mhm.
Why is this an exciting game? Because I know D&D has board games. There's not just one out there.
Yeah.
In case you didn't know, and I thought you did, so I didn't mention it before, but then I went ahead and did it anyway. Doesn't really matter. So it's called Adventure Begins, and what it is, it's a co-op board game that is designed to be a gateway into the wider world of Dungeons and Dragons. So if, for example, you are somebody who is interested in getting into D&D or role-playing games in general, this might be a good way to do that. A lot of the co-op board games that have that kind of fantasy feel to them kind of mimic what it's like to play, and I think this is not going to be too much of an exception. It looks like it's very user-friendly. It's got,
Mhm.
cards and boards. There's varying bosses. People take turns every round being the DM, so it definitely gives you that feel of playing it, and it's coming out in just a couple months, so that's exciting. There you go.
Sounds like it'll be a good gift for like younger kids that you might have who want to play or that you want to introduce to D&D too.
Yeah,
Mhm.
absolutely. And just the fact that that you are working as a party together, and there's a dungeon crawl in it, and a kind of a final boss, it really gives you that kind of dungeon delving feel of classic D&D.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I like that you get to switch to DM, because then also that introduces people to actually being a DM, and I know that
Mhm.
is kind of hard for a lot of people, especially with role-playing games and such.
It's inarguably the hardest part, I would say. Like the
Mhm.
hardest role to play in any role-playing game is that of the referee.
Oh yeah.
Yep.
I'm very interested to see how this game plays. As I'm sure others of you have seen, I've played a lot of games set in the Wizards universes. So I've played Magic the Gathering themed games and Dungeons and Dragons themed games, specifically with those IPs. Like obviously there's a lot of dungeon crawlers, but not all of them use
And
the
some of them are
Dungeons and
good, and
Dragons.
some of them are not.
Exactly,
Mhm.
Christian. That was some of them. I played Lords of Waterdeep, right? Is a classic just of board games. Everyone is just like, yeah, it's a classic worker placement game. One of the standouts in the genre. And other ones I've played. Luckily, I don't actually remember the name, and I probably wouldn't say if I did, because it was just so I just head scratching. I was like, wait, but this whole action sequence makes me not want to play, because if I do this, I get punished for it. So just the design just completely fell apart. And the thing is, like, a lot of these, there's licensed games. Different companies have produced Wizards of the Coast licensed games, so it's not always the same designers. It's rarely the same designers, rarely the same companies even making these games. I have high hopes for this one, because I think that it looks just like with the components and the direction that it can capture some of that feeling. But I think seeing this as it develops, seeing more preview videos come out is a really great way to get a sense of whether this is capturing the feelings it's trying to capture.
Mhm.
Yeah, I do think it's interesting that it's specifically being positioned as a gateway into D&D.
Yeah.
Yep.
Which I think, I'm presuming, suggests some of the design elements that are probably going to be in there. Like I suspect they're going to have a D20. You're going to be rolling that to make attacks and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Mhm.
So like it'll train people up from fairly young to grow up into horrible, twisted D&D players.
And that's the only reason that I'm covering a board game story as an RPG guy, is that, and if anything that brings more people into my hobby, I want to tell people about.
Yep. Indeed. Yes. We have to just look forward to what it cultivates in the world. Speaking of things that are happening in the world, 2020 winners for the Spiel des Jahres is out. Emma, do you
Perfect.
want to give? Yeah, it's. I was thinking of. I get a star.
Yeah, gold star.
Go star. So Emma, go ahead and tell us a little bit about the winners.
Yeah, so we had talked about the nominees a little bit in the past, but now we actually have the Spiel des Jahres winners for 2020. So I'm going to go through those games one at a time to tell you a little bit about the games. So the head honcho, the big winner, take it all of the Spiel des Jahres game of the year is Pictures, a competitive party game where players try to recreate images using ridiculous materials like a handful of colored blocks, sticks, and stones, and shoestring. I actually got to play this game. And what was pretty cool about it is it's it almost feels like charades or Pictionary, where you're trying to create something and give people clues. But one of the things that's really cool about it is each person is creating things at the same time. So it's not one person and one judge. So each of you is looking at a grid of photographs. And the grids are labeled A, B, C, D, and then 1, 2, 3. So you might look at your card and say like, oh, I have to make D4. And each of you has a different type of material. So one of you has the pebbles, and one of you is making basically pixel art. And those materials rotate from thing to thing. So each turn you're going to have a different component to work with and a different picture that you're going for. And then people are basically each trying to guess each other's. And you get points if you make a really good picture, and you get points if people guess yours. So I thought it was like a pretty clever implementation of this style of gameplay. Not a lot of downtime, different than other games I've seen this genre. So that was.
If somebody guesses your picture correctly, do you have to shout that they sank your battleship because it was D4 or whatever?
Yeah, I don't know if I didn't read the rule book. I was taught the game that might be in there. We didn't do it, but you can house rules that for sure.
They may not have been playing tournament legal, is what you're telling me.
Yeah. Probably not tournament legal pictures. Up next, we have the Kenner Spiel game of the year, the Enthusiast game of the year. So the way it works is Spiel Des Jahres is kind of the medium level of approachableness, like family plus style games. Kenner Spiel is a little more complex, and then the Kinderspiel is young family and kids type game. So for the Kenner Spiel, the winner is The Crew, a cooperative trick-taking game with a theme of finding Planet 9, all of the added challenge you can't communicate about what cards you're holding. So this is your typical limited communication cooperative game. The fact that it's cooperative trick-taking is pretty interesting, pretty impressive. There's trick-taking is such a funny style of games because I keep playing trick-taking games. I'm like, oh, that's a trick-taking game. And whenever I have to describe it, it's difficult to say exactly what you're doing because it's bizarre, but it's a style of game that's been around forever.
Yeah.
It's one of those I know it when I'll see it.
Yeah.
Like a lot of traditional card games.
Spades,
like hearts.
Basically, everyone puts down a card and you're trying to match some criteria and you're trying to take the pot in a traditional trick-taking game. But for this one, it's cooperative. So you have to play the right tricks at the right time. Very nice small box game, very nice, good style to it. It's got an interesting theme. The fact that it is a small box game for a Kenner Spiel game is pretty cool too, because often these are, just like big, the classic square box. This is a nice little portable box, which is cool. Last but not least, we have the Kinderspiel Children's Game of the Year, Speedy Roll, aka Hedgehog Roll. I haven't gotten to play this one, but I feel like I've seen it. I feel like I've seen a couple of Hedgehog games over the past year, which was surprising. Like, oh, there's Hedgehog games now. For this
Hedgehog is the new thing.
Clever dexterity.
Clearly, it's what Sonic has led a resurgence of Hedgehog themed items.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Sorry for interrupting you. Go ahead. Sorry.
It's a clever dexterity game with simple adjustable rules to scale for a range of ages. So the board is made up of pieces. They can combine, and the basic mechanic is rolling a physical fuzzy ball across various Velcro tokens. And you're trying to pick up them to determine how far you can move your hedgehog. So we often see something along the line of dexterity games in this spot. Again, when we've talked about the Spiel des Jahres in the past, it's a contest where the games are either published in Germany or they're released in Germany in some form. So the family games that tend to be popular in that space often have like a physical component to them. So I want to play this one. The fact that it's hedgehogs and you're rolling stuff around sounds really fun, and obviously won an award, so it must be good.
Plus, hedgehogs are adorable.
Yes.
Yeah, Chad also agrees.
Hedgehogs, 2 thumbs up. And those are Spiel des Jahres winners.
I'm intrigued about the Crew because I think that's a game that my wife would really like. And Chat was mentioning earlier, she's really big on co-op games, and she really loves the Mind. But like the Mind, the Mind's weird. Like some people really cannot handle that style of game.
Those people are wrong.
It's like there's not a ton of rules there. It's very much about the player interaction.
Yeah.
So I'm very curious about what you can do with the not being able to communicate, but playing a more traditional game that has some more structured rules around it too. So there's definitely something I want to try to play with her.
Yeah, it reminds me a little bit of Teach You, actually. I don't know if y'all have seen or played Tiku or Tichu, Tichu. It's a
No.
team-based kind of trick-taking-ish. It's got trick-taking elements to it, but you're playing with a person diagonal from you, and you can't communicate verbally because the other team will know what you're doing, but really high-level skilled players can kind of signal based on the cards that they're playing, because you're trying to get one of you to win, but you can't both win. So you're trying to play things so that the other person can get to a point and win things. It's a very interesting, complex, has a lot of high levels to it, but that idea that you can't communicate fully, but you're working with someone is really cool.
Very cool. Mind readers. On other related news, I know that it's no news to anybody. There is still a global pandemic going around, but if you choose to wear your mask and then like wash your hands, there's some cool things you can still do outside as long as you still practice safe social distancing. And one of the things you can look forward to, Christian, you want to tell us about it?
Well, there's good news in that free RPG day.
Yeah.
Woo! Free!
It's like the one thing that didn't get canceled this year.
Yeah.
It's exciting. And it's what, tomorrow?
Tomorrow.
Yeah. It's tomorrow. Free RPG day is tomorrow. So once again, several big publishers are, throwing their hat in the ring to bring people some free RPGs on free RPG day, like free RPG Santa Claus, and I love it. Well, I like free things. I'm very poor. That's just
no. I just love the description of free RPG day Santa Claus. We need that. That's the next level, right? Someone comes around to your house.
Yeah, I figured he look just like regular Santa Claus.
Yeah,
but with a Gen Con T-shirt.
Oh, yeah,
for advertising.
Yep.
All right.
Gen Con can neither confirm nor deny our participation.
Or that Gen Con employs Santa Claus. It might be real. We don't know.
Maybe. So
what are keep the hope alive.
What are the things you're looking forward to on getting?
Okay, so what's cool about this, obviously, is that you've got a lot of your really, really big publishers, depending on what kind of game you like, have probably in some way contributed, unless their giant corporate bottom line is going to be affected, which really only counts out one company. So all your favorites are on the board. You got your Goodman Games for your OSR guys. You got your, Roll20 for your all digitals, your Paizo if you're into the Pathfinder thing, and then your smaller companies like your Ninth Level and your Hit Point Press. All those guys are going to be bringing you a whole bunch of games, and I've got a small list of those games right here that I'm not going to go through one by one, but give you just a couple of the highlights. Humblewood's doing the Wakeworm's Fury 5e adventure, which is, if you're playing D&D, that's a way to get your D&D game in there. There's a Warhammer 40K Wrath and Glory RPG adventure as kind of an introductory to Warhammer 40K. If you've been thinking about getting into that, and I know I haven't, but a lot of people have. So
like free RPG day in general is like a lot of these are free adventures, or they are introductory adventures, sometimes with pre-generated characters or summarized rules.
Like start rules are really common.
Yep. It's a good way to kind of get a quick sampler if you've been curious about a game.
Yeah. So I like the Kids on Broom, Overlight, and Junior Brave survival guide all together, which is pretty cool. Let's see. Oh, the Ninth Level one is really exciting to me because it's called Level 1, and it's an anthology of indie games that are all in just one book.
Yeah, and Ninth Level has done some really cool stuff before, like Couple Day My Baby and Tragedies of Middle School. I got to work at their booth at Emerald City Comic Con, I think it was, back when that was still a thing. And I'm just like seeing their passion and just like the weird fun stuff that they're doing. I'm very excited to see that this is.
And Cobalt Day My Baby is super fun, so I'll give them a shot there.
Yeah, the one I'm most interested in or excited about is the preview adventure for the Root RPG. So, a lot of us have played the board game. It was, a huge hit in the past several years. And adapting that like super adorable insurgency warfare against an occupying cat empire to an RPG is really intriguing to me. So that's going to be an adventure that's going to be in there. And I believe that Magpie has announced that even if you can't go to a store or your local store is not doing something, they are going to make it available, I believe, on Drive-Thru RPG for free. You just have to pay for the shipping. And I think eventually they will release a PDF for it too.
Mm-hmm. Very, very, very cool. So yeah, just go ahead and see if your friendly local game store is participating, or see if you can get some of these things online.
Yeah, and don't forget, there's also, like, if you're looking for like the bigger ticket stuff, there's a Pathfinder adventure in there, a Starfinder adventure, a bunch of Dungeon Crawl classics, and 3 months of Roll20 Pro. Which, if you want to step up your Roll20 game, that's a good way to do that. Really learn the system.
Nice.
Yep.
Seems like it might be timely right now too.
Yep.
Yeah, 3 months, 3 months worth.
Tomorrow.
Yes, go.
Yes, run out. Put your mask on.
Put your mask on. Wash your hands. Just remember safety. Anywho, so new things that are coming to tabletop, like behind the scenes. Emma, as our resident game designer, what news do you have for us?
There's a new indie tabletop studio opening called Quillsilver. Ooh, sorry about that. Excellent, very cool name. So
that name is always going to get mispronounced.
Quillsilver.
Is it kind of be like Quicksilver?
That's what people are going to mix it up with.
But there's a lot of board game publishing companies, not naming any names, that have just either iffy names or boring names or whatever. Quillsilver just sounds cool, and I'm 100% behind this name. So this is the Everdell, War of Whispers, and Black Orchestra devs creating their own studio. What's really cool about this is we don't have a ton of indie design studios for board games, and I would love to see more of them. And I like to think of this as a sign that the professionalism in the industry is starting to increase. So the co-founders of this are Brenna Noonan, Dan May, and Greg May. They have a lot of tabletop credits, and they're offering services such as board game development, which is a very important part of board game design. You take the original idea and you hack on it and really break it and make sure that it's a very solid, good game. Art services, marketing services, just, I think, as Derek said before the show, taking your game and making it, better. Maybe running your Kickstarter or helping to prepare it for Kickstarter. They might even take a designer's games and pitch it to publishers. There's a lot of opportunity here, and I'm excited to see a company with such amazing people coming forward to provide those services.
Well, I hope they're successful, because I certainly feel like a lot of the things that they're specifically mentioning that they can help with are the things that a lot of games in the industry could really benefit from. There's a lot of games out there that are a great idea or are a good start and could use a little bit more polish maybe, and then they would become great games. So kind of similar to you, I really hope that they're very successful in this. I hope that they perhaps inspire a few other studios to pop up similarly, because I do feel like, not like a middleman studio, but like having people who are excited about aspects of the game design and publishing beyond the concept of the game, I think is really helpful. And having an industry that can support studios that focus on providing support for that suggests a health in the industry as a whole to accomplish those things.
Yeah, and good for these people working at the company as well, because pitching board games to publisher, especially doing stuff on spec, it's very risky. Sometimes it's feast or famine. You never know if something's going to get picked up. So being able to employ people and have project fees and get a chunk of that and support these people in their careers in the board game design industry is awesome.
Yeah, and then another, just a quick quip to go in. It's kind of exciting to see, because maybe there will be a lot of games that come out that we have been wanting from different perspectives, different cultures, that just haven't had the right know how to polish their game to make it more marketable for everyone. So it could be exciting, and we're wishing them lots of luck.
Yeah.
So on our final headline of today, I don't know if you're familiar with the Transformer TCG, but unfortunately, Wizards has decided to end their 2-year run of the Transformers series. I and many people have heard many good things about this game, but I just haven't had an opportunity or time to play it. And I think the last release was on April 17th, just because how everything was happening, and it wasn't quite taking as well as it like they wanted to. They decided to close the book on this Transformer game, and then devote those like purposes and resources to other projects. So
The ones
It's
that
one of
make
the-
money.
Yeah, it's one of those surprising things because again, I hadn't played it, but everybody that I had heard who had played it said basically the reaction was, yeah, it's actually really good. Which is kind of a damning with praise thing, but like, everybody seemed to like it when they
It's
played
not the
it.
worst.
Yeah, everybody seemed to like it when they played it, but it apparently not enough people were playing it, which surprises me a little bit because I would have figured that a IP like Transformers would be a pretty solid slam dunk.
Yeah, well, it's just the same thing that happened to the Star Wars Destiny trading card game or trading dice game, right? I played that one and I was like, wow, this is actually surprisingly fun. I remember looking at the Transformers game because I heard the same thing and I watched some videos. I'm like, they're doing some very clever things there, just to get
Building
this
the robots.
Yeah, well, so like mechanics for like keeping some things. It seemed a good mix of straightforward and interesting strategically. So the bar to entry seemed like relatively low. It's just when you're competing against Magic or Pokemon or the things that are already existing and you have to get people to buy in and continue to buy in, it's a very high bar. And there's so many games that are filling most of that niche, like getting something that's like, oh, it's similar to that, but it's a different IP. Like it takes a lot to move people away from those games. As someone who's left Magic and come back to it, there's, and with it be having Arena Online and I can play online or I can play in person, it's, trading card games are tough. They're tough.
They're definitely not on the upswing.
No.
Yeah, like not as a general category, but like it's weird. Magic has
are the Transformers, so
Magic has created and defined that whole genre of games for so long that you continually have like, well, this is the game that's going to topple Magic, and it doesn't.
It's staying right on top.
But I do feel like there's a, I don't know, it's weird. Like it feels like there's a space for games that provide a similar feel, and if folks could figure out ways to make those games successful in the smaller niche and not worry about taking over Magic, maybe they'd be more successful.
But it's the whole trading card game package though, because you have we've talked a lot about living card games, and I forget the other term, expandable card games. It's just like, this is a game, you can buy it, you never need to buy another thing again. Even just like expansions or standalone expansions, this is also a game, you can just buy this and play this. Oh, and if you play them together, it's also fun and better. So there's kind of an idea their content will keep coming out for it, but with a trading card game, just this idea that you have to buy, you have to keep buying, you have to stay up with the meta, just this constant influx and requirement. Like you can't go back as much and play with your old stuff. So that's the part. There's lots of games that do fit very similar niches that feel very similar. Millennium Blades or something, right? It's a box you can buy. It feels exactly like a trading card game, but just the packaging, the marketing, the product is hard to keep up with.
All right.
Only sad it's going away because it was one of the first episodes of Tabletakes where we talked in depth about it for a few minutes.
Yeah.
That's where I found out about it.
Oh, is that right?
The end of an era.
The end of an era. But yeah, no, it's just but this IP might be closing, but then it's like it says, these resources are going to go to something else and maybe something really exciting that will latch on. We'll have to see in the coming future. But that was our main headlines of the day, and now it is time to go with the bundle boss. Trying to find Christian. Wait, did I aim it right? No.
I love the Bundle Boss song. Every time I hear it, it makes me so happy. So this week is from the Bundle of Holding, and what we've got is a package called Old School Gold. It has a sexy sound to it,
I do like that.
It's like there's a nice song playing underneath, like the candles are lit, and you're going to play some old school RPGs. And that's basically what this bundle is this week. It is an old school revival package, meaning the games themselves are not old. These are all relatively new games that are in that OSR style that has been so popular with companies such as Goodman Games. And we're going to go through them. Part of what's exciting about this bundle this week is that not all of these games in that OSR style are fantasy games, which you would generally expect because they're all basically old dungeon crawlers. This has got tons of stuff that you probably haven't seen before. Most notably, to me rather, because there's tons of games on here that look like they're really fun. But one of the biggest ones, like Golgotha, is a game that is set in the edge of known space and beyond that, where you find out ancient races. It's got a very dark world, Chronicles of Riddick space feel to it. Probably has some 40K influence, I'm guessing. Cinderheim, which is a 47-page standalone game that is basically it's based on those Dead World games like Dark Sun, and there's 7 like evil warlords that have taken over the post-apocalyptic wasteland, and it's got the good stuff.
Saying Dark Sun is a way to get me interested. That's true.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was going to say Derek's
That's not
game.
the only one I have for you. The Trilemma Adventures Compendium is particularly notable. We've talked about it on the show before. 178 pages, usually retails for $12. You're getting it as part of a big package of $10. So it's
on my shelf somewhere over here.
Yep. 50. It comes with 55 locations for low preparation one-shot adventures in that style. It's also system agnostic, so you can play it in D&D or any other system. It's just there for you as a tool. The other one that I looked at that I thought was kind of fun was For Coin and Blood, and this is my other one that specifically for Derek, is a grimdark old school fantasy role playing, which it hit all the buttons. If it would have said vampires or space in there, I would have just said, okay.
Or space vampires.
Vampires.
Yes, grimdark space vampires. I'm waiting for that title for a game because I'm going to get that for Derek for his birthday.
Those are called Night Lords. They're one of the 5th army in Warhammer that I've decided to pick up.
Not every space vampire is a Night Lord. Even though every Night
Lord is a space vampire, that's true.
I'm glad we can clear that up between us, Derek. Golgotha also has, if you get the expanded package, there's the Obsidian Garden Warhive and a new player character classes, which are just 3 different supplements for Golgotha. If you really enjoy that game, which has been getting some good hype, so maybe check it out. And that's it. It goes, of course, to a good cause, which I believe is the prevention of the apocalypse.
Wait. Okay.
Our continuing sanity.
I'm not making that up. They're fighting the apocalypse goes to fighting the apocalypse. 10% goes to
Heart to Heart International. Yeah.
Heart to Heart International, which is a pandemic-related charity.
All right. Yes. So it's very current, this donation. So go ahead, pick up some good games and donate to a good cause. And now that was our bundles in it. Now it is time to hand it over to the Kickstarter queen. Wait, am I aiming right? I don't know. I
who knows? But the 2 of you are dancing, and it is.
I'm trying to look at my back screen and look where I'm going.
Yeah,
it's over here.
Yeah. Hi.
So this week we have what, 11? Yeah, we have 10 Kickstarter projects we want to share with you. So The first one, Bonsai, you were very excited about, but you were concerned that it's a toy. Tell us why.
Okay, so with 71 hours left, Catapult Kingdoms. So 3 days left. Or wait, hold on. There's 2. Okay, yes, 71 hours. Yes, that's 3 days. Okay, so it's ending on Monday, July 27th. Sorry, you made me do math for a few seconds, and I was like, what is going on? It's pretty much a Catapult Kingdom is a game where you and some other player can build up walls, 2 to 4 players. You build up walls, and then you get catapults and things that you can launch at it. And you have to take these action cards to show what moves you can actually do during your turn. And your object is to build up your wall the best that you can, and then the opponent has to try to knock it down. So I think you could just play with it as itself. It's like if someone were to take Angry Birds and make it into a board game, this is the game. I just like it because I like toys that you can potentially catapult at yourself or others.
I'm
So-
disappointed that there's not an Angry Birds board game just called Angry Boards.
Angry Boards. There you go. There you go. Just
I'm
that's
sure
your
dads all
million-
over the country are upset about that, Derek.
Angry Boards. But yeah. So I mean, there's not really much explanation in the game, but it like that's the thing that basically blurs the line between, is this just a toy you can launch at people and a board game? But it still looks really fun, especially if you have like little like younger kids or a niece or nephew or son or daughter, and you really want to get them into like starting to play board games and have fun with it. So it's a dexterity game where you, like I said, build castles, populate it with minions, and then you try to destroy each other's castles. And then the actions you can take are just the cards that you receive. So that
sounds like playing
Sounds great.
Blocks, the board game of like you build your castle and then your opponent kicks it over.
but they
What
have
kind
to
of blocks
launch it.
did you play?
Beach Bully, the board game.
But you have aim and skill. Aim and skill
Yeah,
is involved.
I didn't
with
say it
knocking
wasn't.
down. You just don't kick.
No, this is how you do it. You aim, you fire, you miss. You're like, no, wait, that was just a test run. Here, let me try it again. No, okay, let me go again.
So says Emma, the person who insisted on flipping the table every time we were in Tabletop Simulator. So I don't think you have anything to stand on with this whole who would destroy someone's delicately arranged game.
I'm pretty sure that you flipped the table first.
Absolutely incorrect. We have it on video.
Yes, that has 3 days left. So go ahead, Catapult Kingdoms.
Right, another project with 3 days left, or 4 days left actually, because it's ending on Tuesday, is Whale Riders. And this is a kind of a very interesting project that we had to talk about a little bit before the show, because it's another game from Rainer Knizia, as well as Dutrait Grail. Like I think they're collectively called the Holy Grail is their brand. And like if you are in for the classic dry Euro mercantile sell, trade, make the most money than anybody else game, like this seems perfectly right up your alley, especially because it's not set. It's not another kind of iteration of the MtG's or something regarding Venice or Italy or the Mediterranean broadly or the Roman Empire or something like that. This has a whole kind of new for this genre, I think, theme and premise of you are like whale riders in a frozen north where ice is encroaching and kind of cutting off ports of trade. So you are hopping on your trusty whale and you're sailing up and down the coast to buy, sell, trade and stuff like that. You're just trying to make as much money before winter comes and the area is frozen over and your whale can't get through the ice anymore. So it's an interesting, it's a very nice like step away. The art is very colorful. It's gorgeous. It's incredibly stylized. It's really eye-catching. It's one of those things that I think really excites us because it's the kind of stuff we've wanted some of these drier games or games in general to explore new themes. The only kind of downside or drawback is we didn't see any note of like a cultural consultant or anything like that. And the designs of the art is very clearly seems to pull heavily from, Arctic indigenous populations and stuff like that. So it would have been better to see some sort of cultural consultation to confirm that, the art they're doing is respectful or makes sense or represents those communities the way they would like to be represented. Just because when you're not part of those communities, going in and taking the visual stylings can have repercussions that you just don't anticipate. So having somebody there to give you some context is extremely helpful. So it's one of those interesting, promising, doing a lot of stuff that we like, but we do kind of feel like there's the need to mention that it seems to lack an address of that. And maybe they'll update that in a future Kickstarter update. Maybe they have plans for it. We'd love to hear about it. But if you love those very classic Euro games, definitely look at this. If you have been like, man, I love medieval trading in Venice, but I want something stranger and more colorful,
less Venice-y.
Yes.
Yeah. I mean, I'll go ahead and put my 2 cents in as a native or indigenous person from the island of Guam. Like it representation of having somebody there, if it's just even a small little blip, like, hey, is reassuring to me, because it sometimes they can like just be like, oh, throw them in grass skirts. That's kind of what it is, right? But that's no. So please don't do that. It's just, yeah, I totally get it. We want games like this. We want games to represent multiple cultures, especially because we are the world, and there's just so many other things that, like, you know, other places that you can do trading and such, and exploring that and introducing people to new cultures is great. We just want to be represented correctly and not just a token character for fun skins. So that's just my 2 cents. So yeah, just a little, we just need a little, like, hey, double check, this is all right.
We did talk a little bit before the show, where is the line between pandering or whatever, where is this trying to make a show of like, this is like trying to get I think where the line is if you're trying to get the kudos without putting the work into it. I think there's a lot of subtle things you do just using the word somewhere on the page. And, you know, maybe they did, like we did do some research on this, but maybe it was somewhere we didn't miss, but just making it, you know, at the bottom of the page or somewhere where it's fairly easy to access, either the words cultural consultant or even just, like you said, bonsai, the picture of a person, and then it says cultural consultant. You don't have to go into a big spiel about all the things you did, but just like a little bit of a nod there is definitely in this day and age very appreciated.
Mainly because not enough games do that. So, you know, until it becomes the norm, it's worth making very clear what you're doing on the game. But the art is absolutely gorgeous. So I really
have
do
an
hope
orange whale.
Yep.
That's the most important thing about that. So yeah.
All right. So the next project we have, I guess, is maybe on theme because it's another cetacean. We have 4 days left with Houston. We have a dolphin. So you ready for this pitch?
Yeah.
The Earth has been destroyed. You are escaping on a ramshackle spaceship, and you need to make sure that everything works, but it starts failing. What is the cause? A dolphin has snuck on board and is pretending to be human, and they're sabotaging all the equipment. So figure it out. This is a social deduction game for 3 to 5 players, which means I'm automatically interested because I love deception games. And this is specifically designed to work at a smaller player count than most of those games really require to function. Plus, it also hits on the other thing that we tend to be intrigued by, where you lay your smartphone down on the board, and when you're playing your cards, you don't show them to your opponents because things are secret. You scan the card into the smartphone app and then place it face down on the board. So apparently the app's going to guide you through the experience, kind of help things along. So, you know, it's got a couple different elements.
A little bit more complicated.
Sure, there you go. But maybe that complication is what it needs to be able to function with fewer players. I don't know if they add NPCs or if they kind of have scenarios, but there's just a number of things about it that intrigue me. It's the type of game I like. It's experimenting a little bit. The art is super adorable because it's these dumb dolphins who are shoving fish in all the disk drive slots and stuff like that.
Dumb dolphins. This is a nod to Hitchhiker's Guide, and we all know where dolphins are on the intelligence scale.
Thank you, Emma, for saying
the
that.
Only
we all know. You mean?
No. Oh, well, there's spoilers, though. I mean, I know the book is like 60 or 70 years old, but I don't know.
So are you ready for this? The only book in that series I've read is Mostly Harmless.
What?
Oh, no kidding?
What?
No. But I mean, like, it does have some real nod. Dolphins are actually legitimately evil, though, in the animal kingdom. If you guys ever look into like dolphin behaviors, they're like super evil.
They're awful.
they're actually
just because they like to poke pufferfish to get high. Come on, we've all got problems.
They do a lot more. I'm just saying.
Anyway, you're stuck on a ship with them now, Bonsai. So you better find them and get them off that ship.
No.
Is there only one?
I think there might be more than one, depending on the number of players you have. Because like the components had a couple different dolphin cards. I think like 3 or 4 dolphin cards. But I guess that could be the ironic thing is you're also trying to figure out who the other dolphin, who's the sabotaging dolphin, and the answer was it was all of you all along.
You're all dolphins.
Go with the clue plot. I like that.
Well, right. Are you like? Are some people the humans and dolphins, and you can't tell which ones are the humans and which are the dolphins? Are you?
Because the dolphins are disguised. They wear a mustache.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, okay. So
Yeah.
so you think they're a human?
Yeah.
Okay, that makes.
I mean,
sense.
otherwise it wouldn't be a deduction game.
Right.
Just the mustache. Anyway.
Yeah.
If you like deduction games and you want to mess around with something that plays around with a little bit of technology, check that one out. You got 4 days left. But with 6 days left, Emma, tell us about Mantis Falls.
All right, Mantis Falls, a game of trust. So this is probably a game where nothing bad ever happens and you trust each other and then everyone's happy at the end. Right, Dirk? It's like your perfect type of a game. Or it's a game of, it's a cooperative game that's only really cooperative sometimes.
Just
Also my favorite kind of game.
So players live and die on the film noir roads of Mantis Falls, a mob-ruled mountain town in the 1940s. As witness to something not meant to be seen, players must work together to survive, but not everything is as they seem. So games may only have witnesses. Some games have an assassin. The coolest thing, what really made this stand out for me, is it's a deduction game and betrayal game for 2 to 3 people.
Yeah, this is literally a Humphrey Bogart movie.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh, geez.
Most deduction betrayal games only really work with at least 4 players, better 5, or like Resistance up to 10 players. The more players, the better. So being able to get this experience at a low player count is very exciting. And the art and style of it are also really cool.
Yeah, it's very, very intriguing.
Yeah. So one of those things I have it saved. I haven't quite put in my bucks for it yet because I've been backing a lot of Kickstarters, but I'm on the fence. I'm like, that just sounds so. I just want to know how that works. So I got to back the Kickstarter so I can see what they did there.
I've been on the precipice of that one too for quite a long time. Yeah.
But
you have another one you want to share with us as well, with 6 days left, right?
Yeah, with 6 days left, we have a dozen frightening rumors for use with fantasy RPGs. This is a PDF of rumors that GMs can use as background flavor and inspiration. Stretch goals are going to add more PDFs. Each one is 8.5 by 11 page, so a single page with really cool art, which I appreciate. Like, I need more art in RPG stuff, just have pretty pictures to look at. So there's 12 different rumors and a cover page. The content is systemless and designed for use with fantasy role-playing, so the GM will need to put in any statistics for whatever system you're using. What I love about this is the fact that some of my favorite moments in role-playing games have been NPCs that have backstory to them. We went through a section in our campaign, talked about it a little bit on the show, where it was a gladiator arc. We were in a city, doing a lot of city stuff, meeting a lot of people, and their stories were kind of intertwined. And over many, many sessions, these things were being revealed. So that's a very exciting thing to do in an RPG, and it's tough, right? For a GM to kind of put all those pieces together and know when to reveal the details and all the stuff going on. It's a lot of work. So having these pre-built things, and you can probably tweak and mod them, but having a framework to work from is really cool.
And like, I think the project is also just neat because there's 11 PDFs that have been unlocked. So there's the dozen rumors, there's a dozen city encounters, there's a dozen more rumors, there's a dozen weird denizens to put in a dungeon. There's just lots of, it's a collection of like, here's a dozen different things to use as inspiration when you're doing that thing.
Yeah.
And the buy-in is super low, which is nice.
Yeah.
$1.
All right. Another one that we're going to revisit, because I believe we talked about it last week, was the Steven Universe Beachapalooza card battling game.
So nice. You mentioned it twice.
This is on our list again because now it has 6 days left, and it is also worth noting that it has not funded yet. It's currently at just under $50,000 out of a $60,000 goal. So, like, this is one of my kind of rule of thumbs with Kickstarters is that, if I love it and it hasn't funded yet, I back it. If I absolutely adore it and is perfectly made for me, then I back it. And other ones, like, I'll sit on and I'll think about for a while and decide what I really want to do. But, this, again, like we talked about it briefly last week, so we don't need to go into a ton of detail, but you are playing a bunch of Stevens, collecting bandmates to go, have a beach band contest, and then a bunch of villains interrupt you and you have to bubble them so you can go back to continuing the contest. So if you love card games and you love Steven Universe, you should definitely check this out and jump in, because you've only got 6 days left to push it over the edge. And usually projects will have a big bump in the last 48 hours, but you know, the earlier you can back, the safer you're going to make that if you're really excited about the idea.
Mm-hmm.
Christian,
Yeah.
speaking of Battle of the Bands,
I know. Both of our Battle of the Bands products are right next to each other. It's like you are a merchandising genius. The next project we're going to be talking about with just a few days left is Ragnarok Star. I chose this game because it is a pun.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wait, so it's not the star of Ragnarok, it's Ragna.
If I said that name
Rockstar.
to you, if I had to say that name to you, what would you think this game is about?
Puppies. Totally.
Metal.
Thor starts a band.
And there you go. That's basically it. It's you know, old school, like, you know, it's Vikings that are all in rock bands that are you know, having a great big venue, like a great big concert, and you want to get the biggest crowd at your concert. And yeah, that's you get the best venues, you compete, and you basically plan out your entire show ahead of time, and however you come out at the end is who wins.
Sweet. Like, oddly enough, it reminds me of the video game. Oh, I can't remember. It was the one where you were the writer and you had to shine the darkness away with a flashlight. Anybody else play that one?
Oh yeah, I've got that.
Yeah, I know. Now I've lost it. But anyway, you actually literally have to have these old guys in a retirement home.
Alan Wake.
Yeah, Alan Wake. Yeah. So you have this whole sequence where you have to help these old guys in a retirement home, like, recapture their, like, Norse rock star youth and do a big rock pyrotechnic show to fight the darkness away.
Aww.
It's good stuff.
And it's got like everything I love. It's got, like, you know, hardcore heavy metal without me getting, like, hit in the mosh pit, which is cool. It's got Viking culture without any of the problematic elements. So yeah, I dig it.
All right. So and that has 7 days left. So you have until Gen Con.
You have
Until
until
Gen Con.
you have until the second day of Gen Con, because we're only 6 days away. Sorry to tell you.
Emma, speaking of another thing that ends during Gen Con.
Gen Con. Dead
What do we
Reckoning, the swashbuckling strategy game from AEG with 7 days left, ending Friday, July 31st. So this, I was looking, I was like, can we call this our Kickstarter board game? I think it's the closest we have to KBG for this week. It doesn't have the minis from what I've seen. They might be on the add-ons in some way, but this is a big game. It's a 4X, which, if you haven't heard of that before, it stands for Explore, Expand, Exploit, and Exterminate. These games, it's kind of code for big old game. If you see 4X, there's usually a lot going on there. This actually looks like maybe a little more approachable version of that game. A lot of 4X games are just like Twilight Imperium is a 4X game. Right?
Oh, yeah.
Like, a lot of these games are like 8-hour monstrosities where you're just playing for a really long time. This one looks like it's got some of that complexity, maybe dialed down a little bit, and it's pirate themed, right? You're going out on adventures, you're taking command of a crew, and you have captains, you're exploring, fighting, upgrading stuff, building fortifications. You can explore further with saga expansions, which can be added and removed. Will you become a pirate? Will you be an explorer? Will you be a master merchant? There just seems like a ton of gameplay in here. I love pirates. I ended up doing Sea of Legends because we did the show, and I got sucked into this. So I don't know if I'll back this one as well. But another great pirate themed game, and it's doing very, very well. So I'm excited to see this and see more of it. Up next, I have Scarlet Envelope, Obscure Secret Society Adventure, also with 7 days left, ending Friday, July 31st. This one, I was a little confused because the delivery date said July, and it's ending on July 31st. So they might just be like shoving it right out. It seems like something that is ready to go. But what was really cool about this is a mail-in game with an escape room feel to it. So this was born out of the pandemic, and it's really embracing what I think is cool, you know, like looking at the times, what can we do with game design in these tough times to deliver some really great experiences. So
I think it also touches on a thing that I love, which is like games as an artifact.
Yeah.
Because this stuff is being mailed to your house, and it's props that are kind of produced in game or in style, which I'm always intrigued by.
So this is going to be envelope full of clues, physical items, QR codes, digital content. You're going to break codes, crush puzzles, and solve a mystery. So yeah, I think this is a very cool implementation of a mail-in adventure game. And this idea of getting the envelopes, getting something in the mail, it's very fun. Support the postal system, right? So a lot of great
another
stuff.
important thing right now.
Yep.
Yeah. Going on right now. So 7 days left. You should check out Scarlet Envelope.
What I like about this game is that it mixes me and Derek's favorite two genres, in that my love of mail-in games and Derek's love of escape rooms.
Yep. All right, for our last Kickstarter of the day with 9 days, Sunday, August 2nd, Monster Care Squad. So this is a beautifully artworked, like kind of Ghibli-inspired tabletop game where instead of going around and killing monsters, you actually are someone who goes in, finds these monsters, try to diagnose their illness, crafting cures, and amending whatever's either if it's a mind issue or a bodily issue, and just try to save all of these monsters. It definitely is flippy. It's a narrative first kind of game, so if you're really into games that want to touch more on feelings and acting out versus rolling dice to see what if you hit your hit die or something like that, this one is just hey, I don't want to go around killing monsters. I want to actually understand maybe this is why they're doing it. Think of kind of almost like The Witcher, but way nicer.
So you've heard about The Witcher, but have you heard about the nice Witcher?
Nice Witcher. It just we try to figure out what's wrong with them and then cure them instead of killing them. And
I like the chat says, I like a Pokemon doctor.
Yeah, like a Pokemon doctor. So you're not battling them afterwards. You're just setting them free and going freedom. But yes, so Monster Care with 8 days left. Or sorry, Sunday, August 2nd. And that, my friends, has been Tabletakes. But let me go ahead and tell you that you got to stick around because we're going to have, as you know, Gen Con Online is a week away. So Gen Con Online Overview is going to be on right after this with, of course, Derek, Kelsey, and Kira coming in and telling you about,
Syra.
So, Syra. I'm sorry. I'm really bad.
I love you did this. You're like, excuse me, I'm hearing an update from the front lines. Her name is Syra. Got it. Her name is Syra.
Sorry. No. But yeah, I'm really bad. I'm sorry. I'm really bad at pronouncing names.
It's okay.
But yes, so that is going to be happening right after this. And be aware that the schedule this week is going to be changed up, of course, because we want to go ahead and cover a lot of things. And of course, all the special events that are going on. Monday, so keep in mind, these are all Pacific Standard Times. Monday at 6 p.m., board games with the Brothers Murph. And then after that, it's a rerun of Gen Con Overview after the Murphs. And then going throughout the upcoming days, Tuesday, we have a rerun of Gen Con Overview with online games, platforms starting at 1 p.m. Pacific. So these are games or board game developers that are coming to us to show off their games and
show off the platforms that they use to play
and the platforms they use to play games. So you can go ahead and get the down low and the skinny on that. Wednesday, there's no live shows, but they're still going to be having reruns, of course, of everything that is going on. And Thursday through Sunday is Gen Con Online.
By the way, you can still get tickets for Gamers Live. Just saying.
Yes, just saying.
There's lots of events that you can get tickets to, and for just Twitch specific, Gen Con is going to have 3 of its own channels that are going to be running pretty much all day long, starting at most cases 10 a.m. Eastern and running to midnight Eastern. So there'll be a lot to tune into on all 3 of our channels. But then, just like Gamers on Live is a good example, a lot of companies, a lot of groups are going to be running events that are be streaming on their own Twitch accounts and whatnot. So you'll want to check our schedule to get information on these games. Reach out to the companies, find out what they're doing, look through the registration system. There's a lot of stuff that you can engage with over 6,000 active events at this point.
Yep.
So Gen Con Online has become an enormous sprawling beast that has room for all of you.
And we're gonna take over Twitch that day. Just
I'm
well,
excited.
that's our plan. But yeah, and I don't know if you can still register if I'm right. Yeah, you can
You
still
can register right up to when the events are going.
Yeah, when the events are going, because it does help us and help our numbers and all of that stuff. So please register if you can. And also don't forget to follow, subscribe. If you miss our live shows that happen here on Twitch, wait 24 hours and they'll be popping up on YouTube. Don't forget to like, share, comment on all that stuff. Thank you so much, the viewers, for checking us out. Christian, Derek, Emma, thank you as well for always entertaining us with all of this hot news coming in on the board game action. And you guys have a wonderful day cycle. And don't forget to stick around for more Gen Con Online overview. Bye.
Bye.